It's so great if you get your publishing company set up, you have everything super organized, but now how are we making you money? Hello, you. So you've established a publishing company, or you'd like to, and you clicked on this video because you're like, it'd be really great to be collecting my publishing. Now, the good news is that in this video, I'm going to talk about, well, if you set up a publishing company, now what? I'm going to walk you through it. Now, if you want to do even a further deep dive, I released a video called, and again, this is a very clickbaity title, How to Set Up a Publishing Company for Your Music. So if you want to watch that, definitely check it out. All right, guys, so let's jump into this because practically speaking, not all of you know that in fact you can collect all of your publishing all by yourself. Okay, so I just want to clear the air up front because there's always a question of like, do I need a publisher and do I need to set up a publishing company? And if you do decide that you want to be your own publisher or you are setting up a publishing company to represent other people's music, then great. This video is absolutely for you. The first and foremost thing that's going to help you to really excel in the music business and to make what you're doing with your publishing that much more successful is catalog building. And we'll do this as 101. All right. So you're going to assemble your music catalog. And I've actually drafted a little thing that you can use. Okay, I'm going to give this to you. I will show it to you in a second. But I have done this for pretty much my whole music career. And it was just a gift that someone gave to me on like, you really should do this thing. And it turns out that by building your catalog and documenting the metadata, it can help you immensely. Let me show you what I made for you and what I'm talking about. All right, so here is a music catalog metadata sheet that I made for you. So this is the most commonly needed information, and you're gonna just add it into this. I'll make sure that you can download it. So check the links in the description, all the places. But in this first column, it's literally just the song title because we want to have each of the songs itemized here. And I'll explain why this matters. But real quick, you'll put in the song title. You'll note the artist. If you are the artist, you'll just write your name over and over and over and over. Okay. If you have other artists, put the artist name. The most important stuff, other than that, is going to be your ISRC. Okay. Quick note on that. When you are getting your ISRC, if you have music already in distribution, because there's two pieces to this. I need you to add your music to this sheet for stuff that is already been released. And then we're also going to add music that you release in the future. So it's going to be like a working document that you use. So the ISRC, if you've already released music, is in your distributor account. Every time you release a song, there is an ISRC number that is assigned to your music. Some of you even go so far as to actually go to like isrc.com and buy your own. You don't have to do that. If you're distributing your music through any distributor, like CD Baby, DistroKid, Symphonic, they assign these to your music for you. And the reason why we care very much about making sure that we document these numbers is because if at some point you're like, I can't stand TuneCore, I'm ditching them and I'm going to a different distributor. And when you do that, if you re-upload your music somewhere else, so you take it down and then you put it back up somewhere else, if you use the same ISRC numbers, it retains all the great plays that you have incurred on your music. So this matters quite a bit. We're going to make sure that we add our ISRC numbers here. The UPC is a catalog number. If your distributor gives this to you, add it. It's not required, okay, but it's helpful to have it if you were given it. Not everyone does, okay? And then make a note of the album. If there's no album, obviously just, leave it blank or write single. If it's an EP, write EP. If it's an put the name of the album. So just kind of track that here. And then with these two, these are like little glorified notes section, okay? For ownership, who owns the music? Can I tell you, even as someone who has done all my contracts properly since the beginning of time and just taken it super seriously because you always want a paper, what the deal is and all that. Having a quick little place that you can go to be like, oh yeah, that was the deal. It was like 25-25, whatever, or it's 50-50. Having a place to go to is really helpful. So having that section right there is what it's for. You can make a little note. And then the last one is limitation. So this is if for some reason there's, you guys agreed that maybe you gave the rights of distribution to your writing partner. And so the limitation would be that John is the only person who gets to release the music. Okay. So this is your music catalog metadata. I added a little reminder. You're using this for old music. Add your new music. Say hi anytime you want. And I'm super excited for you guys to actually implement this. Okay. This is already going to be a game changer and make sure you actually start using it. So that's number one. You are going to get super organized because the whole idea of having a publishing company and making your money and getting your royalties is that you are not leaving money on the table. And half of the battle here is just staying organized with the music you're releasing. What are the numbers, right? The ISRC and all that stuff. So this is going to help you a lot. Number 2, copyright protection. One of the best ways to actually protect your music as a publisher, as the administrator of rights, right? Which is what you're doing. You are the publishing representative, which means you represent the composition, all right? And I know I talk about this, but just real quick, the composition is your original song. When you have written it, it's the chords, it's the melodies. And then when you actually record it, it becomes a master. So all we're talking about in the realm of publishing is representing the song itself, the composition. In regards to the copyright, please make sure you register and get your copyrights. I have another video and we cover basically what happens if you just don't register your copyrights. Do you lose all the rights? Does the house burn down? I talk about that in more detail, but the short of it is that, you do have copyright protection in the United States automatically when you make your creative thing, which is great news. But you don't get all the incredible juicy rights of statutory damages, of being able to get your attorney's fees, which is where all of this really matters. I'm a copyright attorney, and so when we actually have to sue someone, it makes a world of difference. So in this realm of you now being your own publishing company and getting your stuff organized, and now you're going to make sure you register your copyrights, and you do that at copyright.gov. It's something that you absolutely can do on your own. Someone can help you. I can help you. I will leave a link to my law firm if you want to reach out and get some help. Become your own record label, which is literally if you're like, hey, I want to start a record label. Cool, I got you. Understand the entire music business. I want to set up my LLC. I want to do the marketing. It's a lot. So for example, sync licensing, for example, music marketing, it's significantly cheaper than anything you would ever get from a law firm as far as all the stuff that comes with it. And you want to make 6 figures from your music career and you want to do this for real. I'm going to give you what you need. Number 3. That was 4. Number 3, you want to make sure you understand licensing opportunities. So now we're going into the mode of actually monetizing the music. Do you see what we're doing here? Okay, I help build businesses every day. And the idea is to get you up to 6 figures, up to 7 figures annually. And so the way we do this is, as a publishing company, we get super organized. We get our sheet. We make sure we register our copyrights with the Copyright Office. We're ready to go in case we need to actually enforce something. But then also, PS, for enforcement, we can utilize takedown platforms like social media, right? If there's copyright infringement, all kinds of great stuff. Now, on the licensing opportunities, now let's actually monetize, okay? Have you guys been working on trying to get the music that you represent into TV, film, and games? Okay, so this is a really big piece here. The world is changing. Generative AI music is definitely becoming more and more of a thing, but making money from sync licensing, which is what it is still a thing. And it's very lucrative. And if you do it right, it can be your whole full-time job, quite frankly. What you want to do is look at best tactics. And again, I have a great video where we deep dive into how to do this, different platforms that you can use, different strategies that you can use, but just make it part of what you're doing on ways to monetize the music, because it's so great if you get, your publishing company set up, you have everything super organized, but now how are we making you money? So number 4, we want to make sure that we are actually pitching the music then. So there's different creative ways to get the music out there. And, even what I did for my own music businesses is that at some point I ended up dedicating a certain amount of time every week to just reaching out, because there's so many opportunities where someone's like, hey, I have a YouTube channel and I need, the little jingle for my intro video, right? So in the realm of not just kind of traditional TV, film, commercial licensing, there's just direct kind of pitching. And you go, hey, gym company, I have all this great stuff and it would work for this. So again, this is ancillary. It's related to the sync licensing stuff, but it's really pitching your music and trying to make it make money for you. So then the next step from here is incredibly important, which is just expanding your reach. So if you've taken the time to do all the things that I've talked about, right? You have the company set up. Well, we need to grow your audience. And for anyone who is watching this right now, this is the piece that usually gets the least amount of attention because we're all so busy. But you connecting with your audience and actually doing music marketing for your stuff or the music that you represent is really important. Now, one of the nice byproducts of sync licensing is that if you happen to get, your song in a TV show, in a movie, you have people Shazamming it and they'll find you, right? And so I have, artists that I represent who make full-time, multiple 6 figures doing sync licensing, and they don't promote themselves really on social media because they're like, that's not me, which I think is just, don't do that. It has to be you. Okay, it has to be you. I'm telling you, in order for you to get where you want to go, you got to do it. But you can do it your way. But anyway, in the realm of music marketing, you want to get a schedule together You want to figure out what you're doing, how often, and then like, what's your vibe? There's people who dig exactly who you are. You don't have to be the dancing TikToker. You can find stuff that is within your realm that if you're a super serious person, that fits with that. If you're not a super serious person, you can find content that works. I have a free music marketing schedule. The schedule piece I know is so important for you guys, but we go over like music career stuff and I do a jumpstart training. I'll make sure to link that down for you if you want it. But really take time just to look at like, honestly, what are you doing with your music marketing? So it's not so much just about you as a brand, but you as a music publishing company and representing your own music, maybe representing other people's music, and just making sure it gets out there. No one's gonna know about your awesome music that can then be put into some TV show or used in some YouTube video unless you literally put yourself out there, put it on a website, put it on social media, right? Next, maximize your digital distribution. I wanted to mention Disco. This is a very like practical video of just execution things, resources for you. But as a distributor, you're now set up. And if someone does want to license the music that you have or do something with it, you can use this platform, Disco. And I've used them for a long time. And you can basically upload your music and you send it to people where they can download it. And you can put in your metadata of, ownership stuff and lyrics and key signatures, BPMs, all kinds of stuff. So it's a resource if you are wanting to get pretty serious into pitching for TV and film. Look into that as a resource. Okay, DTF, direct to fans. So this is a little bit of an extension on why are we doing all the music marketing? Why are we building your brand on social media? Well, it's because there are additional ways and opportunities for you to monetize what you are doing. And really the music that you have, they're assets. And the more that I can get you guys to think about what you have as actual assets, you won't sit on them. Meaning you just put them on Spotify and you're like, oh my gosh, I spent $10,000 on like 3 songs and I released it. And then like, that's it. You don't promote, you don't tell anyone about it. Maybe you do post about it like 1 or 2 times. And then you get upset that it failed. And then you give like, if any of this sounds familiar, let's make this not be you. So not just from actively pushing what you're doing and pushing the music that you represent, if you do represent other artists, but the other types of things you can do are merchandising, live performances, right? We talked about sync placements. So this is the direct to fans vibe that we're talking about a lot on this channel of just figuring out ways that you can make a lot more money on a release. Being like, hey, for a month, I'm going to put this on my website and my 50 or 100 real deal fans are going to buy it, or they can donate, or they can give me an amount that they want to, give us. And at the end of the day, you will make a lot more money doing that than just slapping it on Spotify. Okay. So that's the DTF, direct to fans. And then lastly, if you're excited about this, we're not ready to gavel. I know you're excited, but we are not ready to gavel. But you can hit that like button, which I definitely appreciate. But we're going to gavel in a sec. Number 8, we're going to invest in professional development. Please hear me on this. There's like this informational gap that every one of us has for so many things in our lives to get to where we want to be, from our music careers to our health to all the things. Seminars, online courses, workshops, like trying to really dedicate a little bit, not just time, but your budget to these kinds of things to invest in you. If you know how to do all this stuff and you became your own publishing company because you figured out it would make sense and you figured out all the ways to do it, you're very resourceful. You are. So that means that that's already in you. But I'm here to tell you that you need to pour into it even more than what you're doing now, because the more that you learn, the faster that you go, the more money you're going to make. And someone once said, they go, you're losing $900,000 a year, right? Something like that, or $1 million. You're losing $1 million a year. How am I losing $1 million a year? Because you don't know how to make $1 million a year. Taking that in a smaller kind of little piece, right? We're just going to say, if you're not where you want to be, it just means that you don't know what you're not doing right just yet. And that's really what we do on this channel. And it's to help you invest. So if you want to go and watch some more videos on this, I deep dive, I'll link to that video. Appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you on the next one.